so big from down here. I mean, it is big, but, well, even bigger. The old water cistern. On some days, this would smell just... Be glad you weren't here then.
Okay. Oh.
into the courtyard. Oh no. What happened to this place? Everything's been torn down. The whole place looks, well, dead. It's like we're the first to set foot here in centuries. This used to lead into the castle's great hall. Looks like my father had it sealed up. I used to walk through here after evening meals. It was beautiful once. This was my mother's garden. Do you know how beautiful something can be when it's tended by a master for hundreds of years? She would have hated to see it like this. Wait. Something's wrong with the moon dial here. Some of the crests are missing and the dial is askew. I didn't even know the crests could be removed. Maybe my mother's trying to tell us something. I'm telling you, there's something strange with the moon dial. Well, as far as I'm aware, it's the only one in existence. The previous owners of the castle had a sundial in the courtyard, and obviously that didn't appeal to my mother. She persuaded an elven artisan to make some improvements. You can see the plates that show the phases of the moons, Maser and Secunda.
There's a warning.
That's the thing. What's the point of a moon dial? I always wondered why she didn't just have the whole thing ripped out. But she loved it. I don't know. I guess it's like having a piece of art, if you're into that sort of thing.
What's doing?
Hard to say. Maybe if we found the missing crests, we could figure it out. If I had to guess, I'd say the moment Mother fled the castle, Father went on a rampage. Knowing him, anything at all that reminded him of her was just destroyed.
Then he just
It appears that way. I suppose he wanted to put the past behind him. Perhaps if he had spent more time with us, he would have recognized the beauty for himself. There's not a whole lot to tell. You've already seen my father's obsession. My mother's not a whole lot better, but you'll see that soon enough.
Were you close?
My father... No, not really. I did spend a lot of time with my mother, but she saw me more like a protege than a daughter. What about you? What were your parents like? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up a bad memory. Right behind you. Very clever, Mother. Very clever. I've never been in those tunnels before, but I'd bet they'd run right under the courtyard and into the tower ruins. Well, at least we're getting closer. Let's go. never even seen this part of the castle before. Be careful. I don't know what might be around. Who's there? I knew I
Woo!
We're getting close. I'm sure of it. We're getting close. I'm sure of it.
Do you know this?
I always just assumed that the other tower was complete. Who's there? I wonder what she's hiding. I'd always just assumed that the other tower was completely destroyed inside. My mother kept this a secret, even from me. She must have been up to something she thought was dangerous.
Did your mother keep gardens?
Not that I ever saw. My mother had a bit of a thing for magical constructs.
Yeah?
Not what you're thinking.
No.
She just found them fascinating. I don't think we've reached the top yet. I bet there's some kind of secret passage around here. I'm smarter than I think.
And...
Look at this place. This has to be it. I knew she was deep into necromancy. I mean, she taught me everything I know. But I had no idea she had a setup like this. Look at all this. She must have spent years collecting these components. And what's this thing? I'm not sure about this circle, but it's obviously something. Let's take a look around. There has to be something here that tells us where she's gone.
What exactly?
My mother was meticulous about her research. If we can find her notes, there might be some hints in there.
Yeah, quite.
I had no idea her laboratory even existed. She had an alchemy set up in her drawing room, but nothing that even comes close to what's here.
What's
Looking at the equipment and materials, it looks like she was trying to advance her necromancy.
To what end?
I don't know. Certainly not longevity. Kind of a waste of time for a vampire. I remember she used to keep a small journal. See if you can dig it up. Any luck yet?
Found it.
You did? Let me see them.
What's...
I only know what she told me. She had a theory about soul gems. That the souls inside of them don't just vanish when they're used. They end up in the soul cairn.
Why did she care where souls went?
The soul cairn is home to very powerful beings. Necromancers send them souls and receive powers of their own in return. My mother spent a lot of time trying to contact them directly, to travel to the soul cairn itself.
And she made...
That circle in the center of the room is definitely some type of portal. If I'm reading this right, there's a formula here that should give us safe passage into the soul cairn.
What do we
A
need?
handful of soul gem shards, some finely ground bone meal, a good bit of purified void salts. Oh, damn it.
What's wrong?
We're also going to need a sample of her blood, which, if we could get that, we wouldn't even be trying to do this in the first place.
You share blood.
Not bad. We'd better hope that's good enough. Mistakes with these kind of portals can be... gruesome. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. Oh, definitely. Mother would have plenty of those materials in her laboratory. You just need to find them. Having trouble finding those ingredients?
Anything you can tell about the soul?
The soul cairn is a tiny sliver of oblivion, the realm of the Daedra. It's ruled by unseen beings known as the Ideal Masters.
Why would somebody pass?
Honestly, I don't know. Necromancers are always interested in souls, though, so that probably has some kind of interest.
What exactly?
Nobody really knows. As far as I've heard, no one's seen them and returned to Tamriel to tell about it.
Then how you sure they even
I've heard
exist?
stories. Stories about fools that manage to communicate with them. You give the Ideal Masters souls, they give you powers to summon the undead. It's all very businesslike.
What do you say?
Because most of the stories end with the Ideal Masters duping the necromancers, who end up dead or wishing they were dead. They shouldn't be that hard to find. Shelves, tables, this should be easy to find. She wouldn't have hidden them. Then the rest is up to me. Are you ready to go? I'm not entirely sure what this thing is going to do when I add my blood.
Can I ask you something first?
Of course. What is it?
What do you do?
I've been asking myself the same thing since we came back to the castle. She was so sure of what we did to my father. I couldn't help but go along with her. I never thought of the cost.
Sounds like you're sick.
Possibly. I guess even a vampire mother is still a mother. She worried about me. About all of us. But she wanted to get me as far away from my father as possible before he really went over the edge.
We don't know.
Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I just didn't expect anyone to care how I felt about her. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are we ready then?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Here goes. By the blood of my ancestors. She actually created a portal in the soul. Incredible.
You okay? Ow!
Are you all right? That looked painful.
It was what?
Now that I think about it, I should have expected that. Sorry.
Ow.
It's hard to describe. The soul Cairn is... well, hungry, for lack of a better word. It's trying to take your life essence as payment.
Oh, joy. Is a way.
There might be, but I don't think you're going to like it. Vampires aren't counted among the living. I could probably go through there without a problem. Not your first choice, I'd guess?
Is there another way?
Maybe. We could just pay the toll another way. It wants a soul, so we give it a soul.
What?
Yours.
Wouldn't that
My mother taught me a trick or two. I could partially soul trap you and offer that gem to the Ideal Masters. It might be enough to satisfy them. It would make you a bit weaker when we travel through the soul cairn, but we might be able to fix that once we're inside. Maybe.
Those are my only.
I'm sorry. I wish I knew a better way, something that would be easier for you. Just know that whatever path you choose, I won't think any less of you. Sometimes things just have to be done. I know that better than anybody. What now?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm willing to do it, but you need to think it through. You'll remain mortal, but you'll find yourself weakened within the soul cairn. I know this is difficult for you. I hope you trust me. I'd never do anything that could hurt you.
I trust you.
Thank you. Let's not waste any more time then. I promise to make this as painless as possible. Hold still.
Alright.
Let's go. My mother must be waiting on the other side of that thing.